Science will do, I'll get the kettle on. Don't worry. The war's mine. I'm no Nick, I'm no a Tory government. Kettle's mine and all. I used to have a singing kettle, but it lost its voice. Proves I'm musical, eh?
You lived here for long?
Since they shut down the Great Eastern.
Thought that was a Clyde steamer.
Aye, it was, but it was disguised as a model lodging house. Right, now, as soon as that starts, no singing, it's violent. Right? Just for people, eh?
What's all that?
Oh, implements of the trade, my impedimenta.
You're a pavement artist.
A pavement? Away you go, I couldn't draw for toffee.
So what are you then?
Me?
Well, there's nobody else here.
You're right. That's good. Very observable. There's nobody else here. There's not nobody here but you and me.
So what are you then?
What the now?
The now.
Officially, like.
Officially.
Officially, I'm unemployed.
Have you been unemployed for long?
A wee while,
How long's that?
You one of these social workers?
No, I'm not a social worker.
You're over the social security.
Not them either.
Merely the social insecurity, that's what I call it. Well, I was last employed, gainfully employed, that's what they cry at, gainfully employed in the 1983, February 1983.
11 years ago.
Aye, best years of your life in that, 11 years. Granted by the benevolence of the wicked witch of the south, name of Maggie Thatcher. 11 years with a rang woman. Aye, it's all right when they need you. Lucrative all concerned, but when they don't need you.
When they don't need you?
Pull the plug down the drain, disposable. Erchibingus, or Menzies, pronounce it how you will. Never mind, doesn't matter, disposable. Aye, that's the society, the disposable society. You're like toilet paper. Tissues, human tissues, that's what I call it to myself.
To yourself?
Well, there's no usually anybody else here. And they say a man's daft to be talked to himself, but personally I find I'm the only person I can talk to when I can expect an intelligent answer. Talk to anybody else, what happens? Good morning, you say. What do they say? Good morning, they say. Nice day, you say. Nice day, they say. Little sort of bloody echoes, that's what they are. Yes. People that don't communicate, they don't talk, you know.
It's not my idea of talking.
No, I see you're doing it as well now. I just said it and then you just said it, see? Aye, that's the trouble with this modern society. That's what all the writers are writing about. No communication. People don't communicate.
It has been said.
Aye, but who listens, eh? Aye, there's never ever been any communication. Never, ever, ever. Except in the written word. You see, when people's reading, they listen. Then they don't have to listen because they're seeing.
I see.
You see, I see, we are communicating. Otherwise, nobody listens.
Think your kettle's boiling.
Oh, I don't hear it now. I've lost the art of communication.
With your kettle.
Oh, I'd say before there's nobody else here. Oh. Now, how do you take your tea, weak or strong?
Don't mind.
That's a wee bit negative, is it, no?
Hadn't thought about it.
That's negative as well.
Not usually so negative.
Uh-huh. So what are you?
Well, I suppose I'm quite a positive sort of person, really.
Uh-huh. Do you read?
Read?
You know, books. Printed matter, jam pot labels, anything.
I read.
I like a good read. I read anything. Catholic taste. Yes, Catholic taste. Oh wait, no the religious Catholic, none of that stuff. No, I read anything. Right. More than than that. I read everything.
I know what you mean.
Plenty of time when you're out of work, eh? Aye. Once you've been flushed down the pool of unemployment, eh? You see, when a man hasn't got employment, a man hasn't got a job. No worry, you don't worry about money. I mean, well, you haven't got any money, you know, except the dole. Oh, I know about the dole. My father was on the dole in 1930. His father was on the dole in 1913. My great-grandfather would have been on the dole, only there wasn't one. Tradition in our family, like. Yes, 1 minute you've never had it so good, the next minute you've had it. There you are. Archie Mingus' history of the working classes in Scotland.
You should write it.
Haven't got time. Too busy being unemployed. But we were talking about reading.
You were.
Gives you something to do, yeah? And apart from passing the time and teaching you interesting facts, when you read, you live other people's lives.
Vicariously.
Aye, that and all. Aye. Fictional lives is more interesting. I mean, who would want to live the life of Archie Mingus if he could be James Bond or Sea Canary?
I wonder.
Well, James Bond's not a very good example. No, I wouldn't fancy being James Bond. I mean, he gets on all right with the birds, but who wants to be beaten on the cobblers? Sorry. Have inhuman torture inflicted on your private parts. No, I don't believe in violence being done to a person, especially if I'm that person. You want more tea?
Please.
You see, being staked out to be eaten alive by land crabs, it's just about as bad as being permanently redundant. The author I prefer is Harold Robbins.
Harold Robbins?
Geoffrey Archer with testicles. Excuse the anatomy. No, I think that Harold Robbins is worth every penny he gets. I mean, for instance, think about this. If I'm sitting here reading Harold Robbins, where am I?
Sitting here reading Harold Robbins.
And the body, but in the mind, where am I?
You're going to tell me.
I'm a big Hollywood magnate, earning millions and gone to bed with hundreds of glamorous film stars. What more could you ask for, eh?
The real thing.
The real thing, you could ask for the real thing, You could go to the brew and go in and say you wanted a job as a Hollywood tycoon, wherein you go to bed with hundreds of glamorous film stars, eh? I don't think you get the job, though.
There aren't many of them going.
No. The nail on the heat, you have hit it, the very nail. It's a matter of supply and demand, and there's so many of they kind of jobs on supply. Anyway, if it was a job like that gone, you could bet your life somebody like me wouldn't get it.
I'd bet my life.
Aye, and me, because the wee clerk behind the counter in the brew would have chuck his job right away and go and apply for the Hollywood job. I'm sure they would. See, I think that when a wee brew clerk quits, I think maybe he hasn't quit. He's away and became a Hollywood tycoon.
And he's off to bed with all those hundreds of film stars.
Aye, well, except if you saw some of the clerks in our brew, they wouldn't have the stamina.
What else do you like reading?
Well, apart from Harold Robbins, I fancy science fiction.
Oh, I like science fiction myself.
Off you go, rolling to another planet, to another galaxy. You bloody boldly go. And you're the only human being in the whole galaxy. Because of your superior intellect, you beat off those weird creatures.
Bends!
Eh?
Bends, bug-eyed monsters.
Oh, aye. I prefer the robots or the androids. You know, that's robots that look like they're androids are robots that look like people. But they're better looking than people.
I know, I've read Asimov.
See, they've got androids can be fellas or lasses. I prefer the girl ones myself because I'm a man, you know. Hey, what was that, mate, that man, that author you said there?
Asimov, Isaac Asimov.
He's the one that wrote down the 3 laws for the androids, aye. Androids must obey people. Androids must not destroy people. Androids must not obey people that tell them to destroy people.
Something like that.
I thought you had a 4th law for the androids. Androids must never fornicate. Well, it wouldn't be any good because they can't have any wains. Then they'd just be doing it for fun. That would annoy the Catholic readers that don't believe in doing it for fun.
But I'm come to think of it, a heck of a lot of Protestants who don't believe in doing it at all.
Oh, no, well, that's not true, no. Protestants don't believe in doing it on television. And I think I agree with them.
Nobody really does it on television.
That's what you say. How do you know? Mrs. Whitehouse, she knows. I wouldn't like fornicating couples fornicating in my front room.
You haven't got a front room.
I believe if I had a front room, I wouldn't like fornicating couples fornicating.
Unless you were one of them.
Unless I was one of them. I will. I wouldn't be doing it in a TV screen in 40 million front rooms.
Well, why not? What's wrong with fornicating?
In 40 million front rooms?
In 40 million front rooms?
Well, I wouldn't have the fucking energy. I mean, the fornicating energy.
Oh, surely.
Oh, surely no, no at this age. And anyway, I believe that sex is a matter of privacy, and that's something your generation should learn.
Will you teach me?
No, don't make fun of me, no. No, seriously. I think sex is a private matter.
Between adult consenting privates?
Aye, corporals and sergeants. I know, yeah, I'm old-fashioned, but I've nothing against sex as such.
I'm glad to hear it.
Except it's a wee bit messy. All that huffing and puffing. And a damp tea.
But enjoyable.
If you like that sort of thing. Have you ever read Shaw?
Sure.
George Bernard? Oh, well known in his day. Wrote a lot of plays. Of course, they're all writing them nowadays. Putting them all in shipyards. And churches. I don't fancy that. Well, I mean, they never tried to build a ship in a theatre, did they? Maybe it could have been a bit cheaper. Because it's no cheap putting the plays on in shipyards, eh?
What about George Bernard Shaw?
Aye, well, have you ever read his play, Back to Methuselah?
I've heard of it. What's it got to do with sex?
Well, that's just it, you see. In his play, Shaw says that man, and I suppose women too, could discard the flesh and evolve into pure thought. There's a thought for you. No sex, no huffing and puffing, no damp, no unemployment. Just pure thought.
Just one thing.
What?
All this pure thought.
Ah?
What's it thinking about?
Well,
Well,
whatever it is to think about.
but there won't be anything.
Oh, there's always something to think about. What about the eternal verities?
What are they?
Everybody knows what the eternal verities are. It's the same as the muses or the three Medusas, you know. All of them are very. I've done a lot of classical reading as well, you know.
Yes.
Oh, you might think I'm just an ordinary. I'm no an ordinary man, you know. I mean, it's like because I live alone, maybe I'm a wee bit peculiar, but well, I suppose living alone there is a wee degree of disorientation.
Just a degree.
Well, to tell you the truth, sometimes you don't know your ears for your elbow. And if you try to do certain things with your elbow, you know what I mean. But you've got to realise that I live alone because I choose to live alone. The natural aesthetic life of the philosopher king, that's for me. There's plenty of time for that when you're out of work. But if I didn't choose to live alone, I would live with somebody or other. Female preferably, because I've got all the ordinary appetites. I like fish and chips and that. I sometimes think to myself, why do I live alone? I sometimes ask myself the question, why do you live alone? And I sometimes give myself the answer, I haven't got a bloody clue why I live alone.
That's sad.
Serious? No, sir. Oh, I'm a very serious person. I mean, sometimes I'm that serious I'm positively grim. But I'm normal. If you prick me, do I not bleed?
Didn't Shakespeare do that bit?
Aye, well, he was always quoting somebody. I've got all the normal appetites, all of them. Trouble is, there's no menu. So I'm on a diet. But even if I wasn't on a diet, I still believe in privacy. The hell am I talking about?
There's an American writer who says that masturbation has the advantage over all other forms of sexual activity because it's the only one you can pursue in complete privacy.
Ah, you're right, he's right, yes. And you meet a nicer class of person. Then you go blind eventually.
That's nonsense.
Or else you get writer's crap in your horn. Anyway, I think we've covered enough of this subject. In fact, I think we've covered enough of every subject. Except one.
What's that?
What the hell are you doing in my place?
You asked me back here for a cup of tea.
Did I?
Yes. I was sitting in that theatre club restaurant. You know, the one across the road from the pub down the street.
Yes, yes. Okay, I can remember without a road map.
Anyway, I ordered a cup of tea, and I remembered I had no money. And you offered to pay for it, and then you remembered you had no money.
Oh, that was humiliating.
And you asked me back to your place.
For a cup of tea?
Which is where we are now.
Oh, I must have been drinking. Oh, no, that I haven't asked a woman back. Oh, I have. But it was a long while ago.
When was that?
1983?
And after that you got writer's cramp.
No, I did not. Anyway, I wouldn't ask a wee lassie back.
I'm not a wee lassie, I'm 25.
I'm old enough to be your father.
Would you like to be?
No, I would not. And, anyway, I couldn't be your father.
Oh, why not?
Because 25 years ago, I happened to be in Japan.
As it happens, I was born in Tokyo.
You weren't.
I was too.
You'd have slanty eyes. Well, unless you had an operation.
My parents were visiting Japan on business. What were you doing there?
I was doing a plumbing job for Mitsubishi.
They've got their own plumbers.
I was internationally known as an expert on ballcocks.
Volcox.
God, I could be your father.
I doubt it. My mother would have known. My parents are rather proper people.
Well, that's just as well. And you sound very well brought up. Where did you go wrong?
Didn't go wrong. Just dropped out. I couldn't take that greedy 80s stuff my parents were into.
You mean you wanted your own way and they wouldn't give you?
Oh, what a clever way of putting it. But of course I am a revolutionary.
Oh, at your age, you let you kid yourself, eh? Apart from being a revolutionary, be sitting about in theatre clubs. What do you do? Run guns to Guatemala?
Why do they need them?
I don't know. Maybe they run guns from Guatemala to Governor.
Or killed inside?
Dangerous people going about Kelvin side. Because you could always try storming the People's Palace, eh? 10 days it shook the Carlton. So, apart from being a dangerous revolutionary, eh? Bolshevik, what do you do for a living?
I paint.
Paint? What? Pictures? Wars? Jugs?
I'd paint pictures on walls if there were any spare ones going.
Murals? Well, there are plenty of spare walls in here.
Of course, I prefer canvas.
Aye, well, you can't demolish a canvas with a bulldozer, eh? So you're an artist, eh?
I'm trying to be.
Aye, well, it's an effort. Anyway, at least we've got something in common.
You're an artist.
Oh, I used to be a house painter. Before I was a plumber. Before I was made redundant.
Oh, a victim of capitalism rampant.
And it was guys sawing the back to all these ceilings. Oh, I'm named Michelangelo. No. Anyway, it was a bit comfortable being an out of work unemployed house painter.
I don't see that.
You're maybe too young to remember another unemployed house painter. Oh, bad wee bugger, oh. Wee black moustache made a knock a mess. But looking at me though, you realise house painters are not all bad.
So you became a plumber?
Ah, well, it's a gay damp business plumbing. But I've got myself another career.
And what is that?
Never you mind.
Anyway, there's something else.
Huh?
And me, leaving home, moving into my own place, my own studio.
Go
I got kicked out of my studio.
on. Oh, landlady couldn't stand the immorality of the artist's life, eh?
She couldn't stand the smell of paint or the lack of rent money. So I'm looking for a new studio, a new place to live. To be honest, when you asked me back here for a cup of tea, I thought you might have a spare room.
Oh no! Oh no, there's women just as well.
That's not very charitable.
Can't you get to home?
Exactly.
Look, just because I asked you back for a cup of tea, I'm not the Salvation Army. Anyway, you couldn't go on living here. What would people say?
They'd say John Wallace had moved in with Archie Mingus.
There you are, that's exactly, there you are.
Oh, who'd care in this day and age?
Me.
Oh, I suppose you'll say there's no room.
Well, that's what they said about the dark hole of Calcutta.
Oh, there were more of them there.
Aye, so you say. So you know that for sure. Listen, I know what would happen if you came back here. The place would be hoaching with long-haired types calling.
Oh, you have a lot of visitors.
No, me, you, your pals, callers, lumbers, oh.
I don't really think I've got that many friends.
I know what young people are like nowadays. Bloody orgies all over the carpet.
In fact, I really don't think I've got any friends.
Apart from ruining the pile of the carpet, they'd be smoking pot.
Never really found anyone my age much to say. Nothing in common with them, really. Never say anything worth saying.
All that smoking pot. There's only one pot in here, it's under the bed.
What an uncomfortable place to have a smoke. You could set the bed on fire.
I'm talking about the gazunder.
Never heard of that. You know, Archie, I think I've listened to you more tonight than I've listened to anybody else in years.
And if you came to live here, you'd never be done talking. I can't stand people that have never stopped talking. I can't hear myself talking for people that don't stop talking.
You know, you're a kind of philosopher in your own way, Archie.
Oh, no, you're telling me what I am. Listen, I know what I am. I'm a new at work, house painter and plumber that's been forced to. He's waiting for society to need him and ask him back.
I know, it's wonderful.
Yeah, but I'm prepared to face the fact that society might never need me.
Well, that takes a lot of courage, thinking you may never be called.
Stonewall certainty. Anyway, I haven't given up this spreading the message. No, I'm not. I'm not totally inactive.
Tell me about it.
Are you still here?
All right, I'll go.
Good, because I don't want to tell you any more. I don't want to tell you how I spread the message.
I'm sorry. Thanks for the tea. Goodbye, Archie.
Goodbye. Where are you going?
Out.
I know you're going out. If you were coming in, you'd be going the other way. Have you got a place to go?
I'll find a place.
Well, you can't go looking for a place at this time of night. Oh, you better stay till the morning.
You mean it?
I don't know nonsense. No pot smoking, no orgies.
Oh, no pot, and there's only you to have orgies.
Now stop
Oh, Archie, if we did it would be all right. I mean, we're not in television. Unless you've got hidden cameras. You haven't, have you?
that. No, I have not. Well, they never tell me.
I think it's against the law to have hidden cameras without permission.
I'm not sure.
You mean somebody might jump out in the middle of our orgy and say, "Stop, I'm Jeremy Beaver"?
I'd sue.
And I'd back you up. I'd be your witness. And you can't sue without a witness, so you need me, so I will stay.
See, young folk, you say they're staying in to go. What's that?
Haversack containing clothes like knickers, bras,
Here, that's enough of that kind of talk.
makeup, paints, canvas, all my worldly goods.
Where did you get it?
I brought it from the cafe. You didn't notice. I left it out there until I decided whether I would stay or not.
You mean till I decided?
Well, that too, until you decided. And I made up my mind.
About what?
About whether or not you were some kind of sex maniac.
Oh, wait a minute. Do I look like a sex maniac?
Yes.
Well, I'm not. Well, no, really. Oh, here, you're no one of these women lib-type women, are you?
Actually, I suppose I am a bit.
Oh, that German Greer and burning bras.
I have to confess I'd burn Jermaine Greer's bra any time.
I know in my carpet you would.
I know it would ruin the pile. You know, Archie, I like you.
Oh, no, I'm not listening. You're here till the morning, then out.
Of course, of course. The first morning you tell me to go, I'll go.
Aye, that's what you say, but will you, eh? Will you?
I swear to you, Archie Mingus, the minute I decide to go, I'll go.
I'll hold you to that.
Can I have a drawer?
Oh, aye. The bottom one there. But you're not going to start unpacking just for the one night.
How did you guess? Well, your bottom drawer now is that weight.
At my age, it's surrealistic.
You know, you may not understand this, but you are superb.
I do understand. I just never expected anybody else to understand. You see, this country's lost its perception. Nobody perceives anything anymore. I think it's all the foreigners coming in with that common market. Oh, not that I'm biased or anything, mind you, not a bigoted bone in my body. I just don't like folk that do the same as myself.
Oh, Archie.
You see, what's up with this market is it's too common. How if we had an uncommon...
You learn to love us all. You might even make a start with me.
Now there you go, orgies again. Now listen, I know what you think of me, so don't pretend.
I won't pretend. What do I think of you?
Well, you think of me as a wise, mature, no bad looking, kind of rough diamond Mel Gibson type, don't you?
Something like that.
Well, you're wrong. Yeah, because inside is the real me.
And what's that?
Well, there is the rough diamond Mel Gibson type, but inside there's a strong, vibrant, alive, passionate wee man trying to get out, struggling.
Why not let him out then?
Because he's tied by the bonds of an avaricious, greedy, monster society.
You're not alone in that.
I am alone. I'm alone in me. I'm the only one that's struggling to get out of me. There's nobody else struggling to get out of me.
I should hope not.
Exactly, but would you shut up and I'll explain. Where was I?
Inside yourself struggling to get out.
I'm inside myself, struggling to get out.
Oh, so get out then.
I can't get out. I'm trapped by the bonds of society. There must be thousands like me.
That's what I said.
Aye, but it's not the same as me saying it, because it's me that's trapped inside me. And all these frustrations building up inside me, and I can do nothing except struggle. And the result is, instead of the strong, vibrant, passionate character, what am I? What have I become?
Oh, for God's sake, tell me.
I'm trying. I've become like everybody else.
Oh,
But not quite. See this? See these paint sprays, these markers, these pencils, my implements, my impedimenta.
I saw them when I came in.
Well, they're the weapons of my struggle against what's uncommon me.
So you really are working classes in Scotland.
Aye, but not the way you think.
Well, how?
If I told you, you'd be shocked. You'd be that shocked you'd get up and walk straight out that door.
I would.
Aye, you would. Aye, you would. So I will tell you.
So tell me.
Right, I take all these spray paints and these markers and these pencils and I go out and I write on walls.
Walls. You write on walls.
Walls, any walls, preferably lavatory walls. Oh